I've spent 30 plus hours playing Capitalism Lab for my school project. Here's how you can achieve the Profit with Purpose challenge in less time, less stress, and less runs. So first, you want to optimize for the goals. The hardest goals are the $500 million annual revenue, the 70 product quality level, and the functional unit levels. So we want to focus on that. The main strategy for this is to just focus on selling. When you increase the revenue, you're more likely to achieve the rest of the other products. Your earnings per share will increase if your revenue increases. Your ROE, I want you to stick it at the back of your head to think that prioritize selling is what you should be focusing your entire strategy on. An easy way to do this is don't put so much emphasis on what kind of products that you want to sell. You don't have to just sell apparel. You can sell different kinds of products. You can diversify. In fact, if you want to achieve the goals faster, you should diversify as soon as possible. Second, you don't actually have to produce all of the products. You can and should sell 80 to 90% of your products from the seaport. The seaport is like the place where you can buy products quickly. You wanna build a department store or any retail store, then go to the supplies and just buy from the seaport. This will make it so much faster. And you don't have to worry about if you're manufacturing enough because there will always be a constant supply. The problem with seaport is sometimes there's not enough demand for a specific product. So what you want to do is here's how the workflow is going to be like. So you build a retail store. Let's say you build a department store and you pick products for that department store. You duplicate that, you hold shift and you keep clicking. You make like 3 to 5 new stores. The problem is if you see that the demand is not that high, demand is shown, I think it's the orange line. If you see that the orange line is very low, but the yellow line or yeah, the yellow or the green line, the supply line is high, that means that that product isn't being sold that much. So you want to stop duplicating the store, or you want to stop selling that product. So let's say it's watches, right? And the demand is very low. You want to replace the watches with new products. You don't have to worry about the nitty-gritty, like, oh, there's still some stocks with left that I have to sell. That's unnecessary. Just change the product right away if you want to save time. Remember, the number one difficulty is that you reach level 11 and you haven't achieved the goal. Sorry, year 11 and you haven't achieved the goals yet. So make sure that you make changes early on. Third is the R&D. You want to have an R&D as soon as you start and build it and pick as much as possible, pick 10 years and pick one product. So the way that I did this was I chose cold pills. I manufactured that in my own factory, and then I used R&D, and I did 10 years of R&D for that particular product. 10 years later, I was able to achieve the goal of product ratings because 10 years basically guarantees it. Now, what if you don't want to wait 10 years? You can do 2 years, you can do 5 years, but what's important is that by around 2003 or 2004, you want to go to your CEO or CTO and you want to buy technology from other companies. If you do that, it's like a shortcut to achieving the product quality rating role. And my advice for you to hear is just buy all of the technology that you can as much as possible. It's not that expensive. It's like 1 million, 5 million. You have like 200 million at your disposal and you have to get 500 million in earnings. So it's very small. Don't worry too much about it. Now, how do we make sure that the ROE and the gross profit margin is achieved? What you want to do is every now and then press F. It's a shortcut to your firms, and you want to sort it by profitability. When you do that, the top firms will be the least profitable ones. They'll be in the reds. My advice to you here is if it's red, just demolish it and sell. Might be worried that, oh, I'm gonna lose money because I'm demolishing the firm and I could have sold. From what I found based on experience, you'll be more in trouble if you try to save on cutting costs than just removing the firm immediately, just demolishing the firm. Now, of course, if you just built the firm like for 1 month, it will be in the reds because there are fixed costs. But if it's been at least 3 to 6 months and it's been red, and you see that the demand is not that high, you can just demolish the firm and sell the land. Rinse and repeat. Make sure that you don't have any bleeding firms that are taking money out of your pockets. Then just build new firms in new products. What I found is that if a product isn't that high demand in one city, you can try selling it in another city, the exact same product. It will have a different set of demand. Your goal here is to sell more get more income, but also cut down on the unprofitable firms because these are the things that will be holding you back. Another thing to note is that how the COO works. The COO will help you set up your firms, but what I like most about the COO is it can help you prioritize your profitability or prioritize your market share. So when you go to your COO, there will be a bar that says that can help you balance profitability and market share. If your ROE and gross margin are not being achieved, then just slide it to the maximum of maximizing profitability, because that way your CEO will make better decisions that will make you increase your profitability. For civic donations, you can build a library or was it a school. The automatic thing on in your headquarters, there's an option for automatic donations. These don't work, so you don't have to use it. Now onto the functional units and the employee rating. What you want to do is just make the average employee training level 100. You can do that in your headquarters. You go to the HR department and there will be like a slider there. You want to go to the maximum. Now I know it says at least 80, 80, 70, 90, I'm not sure. But then you want to go to 100 because when it's at 100, it will help you solve the other goal, which is level 9 functional units. What that is when you go to a retail store, you will see that you see the 9 squares. On each square in the top right, there will be a number. These numbers, they grow over time. And if you allocate training to it, it will grow faster. The mistake that me and a lot of people that I know made was we tried to speed run that, but this is more like a passive skill. It improves over time. You don't want to spam intensive training units. If you're impatient, don't do that, because if you spam intensive training units, your ROE will go down and your gross profit margin will go down because your expenses will increase at a rapid rate. You want to be patient and make sure that your functional unit levels you're upgrading them uh, as early as you can. You don't want to wait until 2010 to do it because you won't have that much time. You want to do it before like 2006, 2008. Another thing to note is that every time you build a retail store, it will have more functional units, right? So a rule of thumb is to stop building anything by 2010. That way, you won't have to wait for the functional units to go up to level 9 in like 1 year. Another thing to note is that you're probably worried that if you have too many stores, you have too many to manage, and that you just have to have the minimum amount for a number of employees and firms or revenue. Don't do that. You need a cushion. So don't be too stingy about how many firms you want to do, because me and some people I knew, they made that. And then after that, it became difficult to maintain the income or maintain their ROE. So it became difficult. Another thing to note is that there are some overrated things. Like one is market dominance. Not important. It's not one of your goals, right? So you don't have to optimize for that. Another one is like having a specific and rigid plan on like having like full supply chain thing. My professor required me to have full supply chain and like from raw materials to advertising. I didn't do that, although I mentioned that I did kind of, but it's not that important. What matters is that you have products that you can sell. Easiest way is through the seaport. Now, Arlo, how about the product quality ratings? You want at least a specific percent to be at least level I think level 70. So here's some mistakes that you can avoid. First is if you build two factories with the same product, it will count as two products. So for the sake of this challenge, just build one factory with one product and focus on improving the quality of that. That's what I did. If you go to the leaderboards, it will see that I only had one product, one dominated industry, and one like, yeah. So basically, I achieved all the goals by just lasering on one product. Second, if you have two R&Ds firms on the same product, it won't really help each other. So what I did was just have one R&D firm for one product. Third, having your own advertising company, you can try that if you want, but it's kind of overrated and it won't really help you achieve the goals. Just use the advertising that they're already offering from other companies. Another one is you don't want to compete with the other competitors. So there's a competitor called Matt Stylist, and they specialize in apparels. What I tried to do was I tried to beat them by also selling apparels and beating market dominance, but they would keep on beating me. So it kind of meant it was harder for me to achieve the goals. Once I just ignored them and I just focused on selling products from Seaport and improving my Cold pills, which was the product that I want to achieve a high product quality rating in, I was able to achieve the goals. Another one is just don't be too rigid with your plan. If you find that there is a product technology on a specific product and they're selling it, buy it. And if you find that the product rating is at least 70, okay, just switch to that product. You don't have to be too loyal to the product that you planned from the start. Another thing is it's okay to be in the reds at the start. Like I think like there's like a fear of being in the reds because you might go bankrupt. But you have $500 million at the start as starting capital. You'll be fine. But still, as you play, remember to go check your firms and remove the unprofitable firm. Some other tips that save me time is avoid inventory. Yeah, avoid inventory because they will always be at level 5, but your goal is to achieve level 9 product. So it's kind of like it'll hold you back. Also, yeah, so don't use warehouses. They're not good for this challenge. Don't use I think it was called private labeling because it will always be at level 5. So basically, the only functional units you want to use is is purchasing, manufacturing, and selling, and also advertising. On that note, I avoid using farms because they will increase the number of products you will sell, which means that you have to make them level 70 at least. So let's say if you have a farm and you sell chicken, cows, and pigs, that's an extra 3 products that you have to achieve level 70 rating at. Focus on one product. And lastly, check Reddit. It's where I found like the biggest shortcuts, and it really helped me a lot. So that's all for this video. If you want a more written version, I have in the link in the description a Google Docs of all the notes that I've been sharing in this YouTube video. I shared this with my friends. It kind of helped them save time. And I know what you're going through. You're forced to play this game. You don't really want to. You're busy and you want to achieve this faster. Don't worry, I got you. Check the link in the description so that you can easily review the notes and achieve this assignment. Good luck and happy playing.